it is the season to be jolly and to take some downtime, but the COVID-19 pandemic has hammered the finances of many South Africans. Millions lost their jobs and others have had to take a pay cut. This limits what we're able to do and where we go during the holidays. But South Africa has a lot to offer, and the eNCA team is taken to the roads on an epic 3-day road trip to the Eastern Cape hamlet of eNCA, and of course, Mobile Madlala will travel through the Eastern Free State. Jason Thafia will take to the KZN South Coast, Wild Coast, and Justin Ford will take a drive along the Garden Route. Well, my colleagues join me now, of course, to tease some of us who are staying here in studio, and good morning to you. Well, listen, Jason, you did not waste any time. You were like, I will talk to you from the car. So I can see that you are actually standing by, but where are you heading to? And I mean, how are you planning on maneuvering some of the restrictions that the president has set?
That's right, Camilo. In fact, you stopped me from packing, which I'm supposed to be doing now. You know, not to brag or anything, but we have quite an epic road trip coming up. But, you know, we have to consider how responsible we need to be when we're doing this. So we'll be going down the South Coast. Now, KZN, as you know from the president's speech yesterday, is not as badly affected. I mean, we can still access some of those beaches as we're driving down, with the exception of those very busy beach days. But we'll be making our way down the KZN South Coast. We'll be entering the Eastern Cape. But ultimately, we're trying to get to Port St. John. So there's a couple of reasons as to why we're doing this. The one is, well, just to give you a taste of what you're missing while you're in the studio. The other is to give you a sense of exactly what it's like on the roads during this time and what it's like to holiday during these COVID restrictions, or with these COVID restrictions. And also, one of the main reasons is that we are also reviewing vehicles and providing content for eNCA Drive. So it promises to be an interesting trip, and we'll get going in the next hour or so, and we expect it to be there at least later this afternoon, maybe around 4 o'clock or so.
All righty then. Well, let me, of course, come back to Johannesburg when Mobile Madlala is also standing by. Mobile, I know that you'll be making your way to the Free State, a province with not so many, you know, COVID-19 numbers in terms of those new infections, but equally, you know, the president appealing for everyone, regardless of which province you're from, to remain safe.
Well, definitely, Jamila, at this point, everyone needs to be at a safe point. So making sure, of course, that we've got our masks on, and we're also making sure that we have sanitizers. But what's even great is that we've got this beauty, which we're going to be traveling into the Free State with. So aren't I just a lucky girl? Well, Jamila, we are looking forward to traveling the Eastern Free State. From what we understand, we're going to be getting into a roadside diner. Now, I'm going to give you all the gory details as to how it feels like to dine in an old car while driving a new one. Ooh. So it's definitely that time to holiday, time to be jolly. But unfortunately, because of COVID, it's been quite a rough time for the country and probably the whole world. But we are looking forward to making sure that we enjoy December, and we show you how it's like to enjoy December, even under these gloomy moments.
Oh, listen, I like how the car is sparkling, ready for the road there, Mobile. But heading over now to Cape Town, Justin Ford is also standing by. Justin, you're also making your way to a bit of a trip there. But I mean, colleague, you'll be making, I understand, past the Garden Route, one of the hotspots which the president has made mention of.
Absolutely, Tumelo, and good morning to you. Excited, no doubt. As Mobile mentioned, we get to drive some fantastic vehicles as part of the eNCA Drive Review Show. But in terms of the actual route, you know, we heard the president speak last night, and the Western Cape a bit exempt from any further restrictions. We had expected the fact that we could have banned interprovincial travel from the Western Cape to the Eastern Cape, but thankfully he has not. However, the Garden Route, as well as the Sarah Baartman municipality, being highly affected and mentioned as hotspots, and we will find ourselves traveling through these areas. So it will be interesting to see how holidaymakers are treating this time, those particular areas. The Garden Route beaches will be closed from the 16th, from tomorrow. So that's also going to be tough, whether, you know, people will, in actual fact, be traveling to those regions, despite the fact that the beaches will be closed. But we start in Cape Town. We make our way on day one to Oudtshoorn. Along the way, we'll get to see some traditional Karoo reel dances. Later on this evening, I will be on a bush safari. So, check us out later, ladies, and see how much fun we will be having. But ultimately, we need to be cognizant of the fact that there is a pandemic around. We have to make sure that we follow all protocols and also make it known to others while we are out on this road to ensure that they are also following the necessary protocols.
Absolutely, Justin. And speaking of that, I mean, I can sense that the common theme here is a road trip. You'll be traveling on the road, have to make sure that you're comfortable but also safe. Mobile, I need to take a look at that car just one more time. If you can maybe give us, even if it's a teaser of a tour of how comfortable one needs to be. Also the space. I mean, we need to still distance and, social distance a bit in the car. What are you working with there?
Well, I'm definitely working with a very beautiful machine. So from just the color itself, Dumela, you can just envy that pop of color. And I think it actually goes very well with my red. Now, I'm going to ask Linga to just show you the inside. It's just gorgeous. So we've got a bit of leather there. Everything is just within reach. As you can see in our steering, everything you can just record. You can work with it while you are driving. But also, like you were saying, a bit of space is very important. So a bit more space there. It might just be a bit fuller because obviously we are traveling and we are known to be the kind of people that travel with a lot and lots of stuff. But that's the beauty of it, Dumela, because look at that. Those are mostly the bags, and those are the things that we definitely are using on the road. So from the tripods to the camera boxes to all of that, and we were able to fit all of that in there, and we're able to fit some of our clothes in there. And of course, we're just looking forward to actually taking this baby for a ride.
Listen, Mobile, as long as you remember to come back home, because that boot is packed. You still work in Johannesburg with us, so we need you back home after this trip. But you know what, Dason, speaking of which, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will have packed to capacity in their comfortable cars, probably even drive into Durban. Just also reminders of those dates whereby the president did say the beach would be closed. Don't get too excited, for example, thinking that you might be spending Christmas on the beach, because you might just find it closed with high police visibility.
That's right. In the past, we've always seen that there's lots of people at the beaches on the 16th of December, on the 26th of December, and obviously on New Year's Day as well. So with that restriction combined with the curfew that we're seeing means that people will now have to find alternative plans. I was thinking about this road trip while my colleagues were talking, and I remembered how a couple of years ago in Kaniso and Tlalose, my colleague and I had done a similar road trip, but it's just so different this year. And, I think the key takeaway for me, especially after the president's address last night, is that we need to still have a bit of fun. I think we deserve it after the year that we've had. But at the same time, we're packing a few extra things this year, extra masks, extra sanitizers. And I think we can do it. And as long as we keep that in mind, that there is a greater good here, I think we can have the best of both worlds, Dumela.
Absolutely. Well, of course, Dason, Mobile, and Justin, as you start making your way and updating us throughout the road, I'll have to leave it at that. But thank you so much for giving us a tease and also just reviving a bit of hope to South Africans that they can still travel, but do it responsibly.